Hello, my people. As I always said, this country will never work out except you and I stand up to make it work. It can never work out. This is a developed area in the middle of the city center, but you can see cows in their hundreds. Right behind me, all you've got is cow feeding in a community that is already developed. This is what we talk about ranches. How we have a government that cannot, for once, do one thing right. These cows can be put in a ranch. They'll eat more, they'll develop more, they produce more meat, and they'll produce more meat, more milk, sorry. But all we have today is what you are seeing behind me. This is a developed community, but every single day, morning and evening, all you have is cows in their hundreds going through the streets, and we say we have a government.
According to reports, a bill by Senator Titus Zam from Benue State is proposing ranching as a sole viable alternative for cattle breeding to end herder-farmer clashes nationwide.
My distinguished colleagues, now is the time to bring about a law to stop open grazing. It is old-fashioned, hazardous, burdensome, and must be discarded. The bill therefore proposes ranching as the only viable alternative for cattle breeding in Nigeria.
Against the idea of restricting movement of Nigerians from one state to another.
No, that would not happen.
Right now, citizens of Nigeria are allowed to move from one state to another to establish business without any hindrance whatsoever.
It affects everywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nobody can restrict
pastoralists
movement.
and citizens of Nigeria, they can move to north central, northwest, northeast, south, and establish their business without
They can do so, but not with AK-47.
These Fulanis are Nigerians. They don't even benefit from government. They don't enjoy schools. They don't enjoy hospitals. They don't enjoy any roads. All the housing programs done by government, and they don't enjoy them, nothing. So to just throw them away like that because they happen to come from they are assumed to have come from states that may not have even enough water, enough grazing area. And you say you can only be done in that state. I think it's not going to work.
One of the fundamental provisions there is the fact that every Nigerian, every Nigerian, no exception, has a right of free movement. Every Nigerian has a right of pursuing his legitimate business. I still stand by that. The fact that a governor or two in the north have said something similar does not take away the right of the herdsman. The question to ask is, have the government done what it is supposed to do to protect the Nigerians who are in that calling, in that profession, in that trade? I would say no. My answer is no. And you cannot blame a person who is desperate, who is looking for a means of livelihood.
64 years after independence, in the 21st century, where the whole world have moved on, we've got our own senators, we've got our own lawmakers, still discussing about open grazing, still having heated arguments about open grazing, where a lot of people in the whole world who are in this business have moved on by using the modernized ranching of animal husbandry. So what is wrong with Nigeria as the southern leaders will be bringing up bills and ideas that will move Nigeria forward, you will get the northern leaders or northern lawmakers arguing against this progress. For how long are we going to keep tying ourselves down when we are staring at progress in our front, but we can't get to it because we continue to tie each other down? Yes, it is true that every Nigerian can go to any part of Nigeria, establish their legitimate business, and do their business legitimately. Yes, it is understood. And this has been happening from Genesis. The numbers of Southerners that have moved to the north many, many years back is a testimony to this. But every time the Southerners, whether the Southeast, whether the Southwest, wherever they move to in the northern part of Nigeria, they establish their own business, they spend a lot of money to rent houses, and then they look for a community school that they can enroll their children. And this is how every other tribe in Nigeria should move forward. This is how every single tribe in Nigeria, wherever they find themselves in the country, this is how they should plan to move forward. Not expecting the federal government to now start putting aside a huge sum of money in order to settle a tribal or an ethnic group in Nigeria. No. So if the herders or the Fulanis, if they want to move down to the south, nobody says that they cannot move. But at least when you move to any part of the south, you should be able, just like every other tribes that move to the northern part of Nigeria, use your own money from your business. The cattle business is a multi-million naira business. I see no reason, just like every other tribe in Nigeria, when they move to every other part of the country, they use their own money to kick off or start off their own business. And out of what they make in this business, they provide for their family and families. You can hear some of the northern lawmakers arguing against that the Fulanis don't get education. The Fulanis don't get infrastructures like other people get. The Fulanis don't get health services like other people get. Even though we know the truth that there's nothing like education, there's nothing like free health services in Nigeria. Everything is DIY. Do it yourself. So why is it a problem for these herders to move to any part of the country and either buy a land and turn it to a ranch and stay in that community? And then they can enroll their children in any community school in that area. And if there's any health services that those people in that community are enjoying, then it is the right of these herders or Fulanis to also enjoy that benefit. Nobody is denying anybody the opportunity to go to school. Because as I speak today, I don't think we have mobile schools. I don't think we have mobile health services. And if you people keep saying that these herders are into a tradition that have always been from generation to generation, from Genesis, and you have insisted that this is what they have always done, They have always moved from one part of the country to the other. How do you then expect the federal government to cough out money to then have a mobile school that will be following them around in the bush, mobile health services that will be following them, mobile infrastructure that will be following them all over in the bush? That is not possible. The worst that can happen is for a state government to create a ranch in their own states. And then these herders or Fulanis can come into that state and rent this ranch. So at least the government of that state can know those that rent from them. And then the local school in that community, their children from the ranch can then attend these schools. And that is what has happened, or what is happening with every other single tribe. I have not heard that there's a particular tribe in Nigeria that they did things for them specially. No, it has not happened. So just as it affects every other tribe in Nigeria, let it be the same for these herders. I was a victim. This is not like somebody told me. I was a victim. In 2015, I bought a land in Southwest. I'm not talking about the North. I bought a land in Southwest in 2015. And at this time, there were farmers left, right, and center. That was when Buhari just took over. But 6 years later, there's no single farmer in this community. All the farmers have deserted their lands. Because every time they even have a courageous one among them that decides to plant anything on their land, these Fulani Bororo, they deliberately attack that land to discourage others from coming. And that is how they have taken over the whole land. 6 months ago, when I went back home, I decided, no, I have to do something. At the end of the day, the only solution was for me to fence the whole of my land, which cost millions. Now, you ask me, or I'm asking you, how many poor farmer has millions to first of all fence their land before they can plant something inside? Because if not, these Fulani Bororos will go in there and destroy everything. And we keep saying we are one Nigeria. The northern part of Nigeria, put the whole region together, are the richest if they decide to use what they have. But they prefer to impoverish their people so that their people will not open eye to see what is happening. And this is affecting the southern part of Nigeria. I grew up in the north, and I love the Hausa Fulani to bits. Most of them are my friends. Most of my life is in the north. So I know what I'm talking about. The ordinary Hausa Fulani are just victims of these same leaders that I'm talking about. These people have capability to turn things around. Each time I go back home in the Southwest, I don't use laborers. If I need laborers, I go and get the Hausas. In fact, I normally will send money to those my Hausa friends and ask them to come to the Southwest. If I'm spending 2 or 3 weeks in Nigeria, we will find something to do together, eat together, live together with them. Wonderful people, hardworking people. The job that a northerner will do for you in 1 week, a southerner will take 3 weeks to do it. And you will still not get satisfaction. And that is why I don't joke with my northern brothers. If the northern leaders knows what they are doing, what is wrong in you securing one state? If all our leadership have failed, what makes the 19 northern states, what makes them, how can they not come together and say, okay, from northeast, if we cannot secure the whole of the north, let's Let's secure only Niger State that has over 75,000 square kilometers of land, arable land that they've not even dropped beans on for once. Let's secure these states and all these our people that are in IDP camps that knows nothing but farming. Let's secure one state and go and be packing all these IDPs, building some shelters for them to farm for as long as they are going to be secure and know what they are going to do. But no, we will never do that. We will prefer to be carrying a bag of rice, 2 bags of rice, and be going to give them in IDP. Who told you that these people are lazy people? These are people who are caught in circumstances because of the incompetence of our leaders. You just dump them in IDP for years, feeding them peanuts. When these people can actually, one, you are not doing anything for them to go back to their land. Two, you are not finding any means in order to utilize this ability that they have got. So if the northerners, the northern leaders decide to do the right thing, the north is the richest. And their people are happy to just go to farm and farm. And that is the advantage they have. But rather, the northern leaders, the northern elite, they prefer 5,000 houses to queue in front of their house in the morning, and they will be giving them pap, giving them rice, and they will think that they are doing God a favor. You are not doing God a favor. The favor you need to do for God is to make sure that these lives of these people that have been given into your hand, make proper use of it. But that is not happening. Before I digress, as I was saying about the land, it's 9 years now. I've not been able to do anything on that land. And the whole community have deserted their whole land. So imagine, and we are talking about how expensive things are. Tomatoes is close from 2015. Tomato that was 3,008 per basket is now going to about 40,000. Gari that used to be 80 naira per little something is now almost 1,500. The same cup. Which one do you want to talk about? And yet we have leaders who just every day in, day out, allow this thing to just carry on. 365 days in 1 year. That's over 7,020 hours or 80 hours of leadership. And yet you cannot provide anything. So we cannot continue to talk about this ranching or talk about this open grazing. The reason why it's so difficult for you, our Nigerian leaders, to do is because these things are not affecting you. You don't go to the market to buy a bag of rice. You don't go to the market to buy a bottle of oil. You don't go to the market to buy tomato. The money you earn is so much that there are people that do these things, and it doesn't even pinch you. But the ordinary Nigerian are going through hell as a result of people not being able to go back to their farm because of headers. And when we talk about these headers, sometimes the people don't want to mention the tribe or whatever. No, it is headers. It is Bororo Fulani. If you check the videos, the clip that I've just played, you will notice few things. I was at home. This is not even in the bush. This is in the city center where houses have developed. In the morning, a particular time, you have to stop and wait for about 2,000 cows to pass before you can drive off. So if your leaders are not going to do it, Nigerians, like I've always said, those that benefit from this shenanigan, from this rubbish happening, will not be the one to change it. It is you that you are the victim of this thing, that you need to stand up and make these changes happen. And there's no better time to do it than now. It's now or never. Because if you are thinking, think about it. 25 years of democracy, what have you achieved? What dividend of democracy have you got? And it's not going to stop. In another 25 years, we will be saying 50 years of democracy. What have we achieved? Have you forgotten how we count years for Nigeria? From 1960 till now, 64 years of independence, nothing to show for it. So Nigerians, the time has come for you to all rise up. This is your life. This is your life. And you've got to take it back. And we can't do it like we have been doing it. One person, two person, standing up as an activist, trying to do one or two things. We have to stand up together and make it happen. These people are not more than you. They are not more than us. We are not asking for anarchy. But the moment you stand up in your number, believe you me, you stand up in your numbers, these people, they know that they've been doing you wrong. They are just waiting for you to stand up and demand what is yours. I'll see you on my next video. Thank you very much. Thank you. Share this video if you can, because we need as many followers as we can get. We've got to. However, anyhow you think you can chip in whatever you want to chip in order to open the minds of Nigerians for them to understand that these changes is in their hands. It's not in the hands of these leaders, because they will never do any change. They will never make any change until you force them to make the change happen. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.